Kalimera Philomu. Good morning, my friends, and welcome once again to the magnificent island of Cyprus. Well, it's a little after 7 AM and I'm up and about in the mountains on my quest for physical fitness to reverse the onset of obesity, having partied quite hard in my later years. The beer, the fast food that tastes so good but wreaks havoc on your body over an extended period of time. But where better to regain my health and fitness than in this wonderland here. These valleys around the village of Drusha, where I live, are just perfect for hiking. The terrain is rugged, steep and punishing, so already my breathing has improved in the last year, having worked for so long in the centre of London. The volume of cars and lorries and buses that pass through that capital eventually will have an accumulative effect on your breathing and your lifestyle. I remember from my many years in central London being herded like cattle onto underground trains where the air was thick with sweat, a breeding ground for viruses and disease, surrounded by soulless faces morning after morning and evening after evening. Everybody had their heads down, staring into their mobile phones. This was not living, this was an existence. Now I get to stroll through these beautiful vineyards, many hundreds of meters above the Mediterranean. The village where I live is across the other side of the valley, a sleepy mountain village that I absolutely adore. It's my forever home now. I glean inspiration from this countryside, the rugged coastline. Everything about this country is, in my opinion, a dream come true. This is one of my favourite rocks in the mountains around the village of Drusha, because from the top, the view across the valley down towards that rugged coastline to Lara Bay, Paya, and then right the way across to Paphos is just breathtaking. So I think we'll pop up there again this morning. Well, that's a climb to get the heart racing, but boy is it ever worth it. This huge rock really is the perfect vantage point. This little oak tree that I absolutely love has been bent by the prevailing wind whistling off the Mediterranean, and I love its resilience. It ekes out an existence here on the top of this rock, and once in a while I'll collect acorns from this wonderful little oak tree and I'll plant them around the island. But let's get up onto the top and take a look. Wow, there is a moderate breeze, but I don't know if you can make out the coastline beyond. I can see Paya way in the distance, and a glimpse of Paphos, where many of you holiday makers would have landed or will be landing in the coming weeks and months. But if you do head to those all-inclusive resorts, please do yourselves a favour, hire a car, take a taxi and come to the wilderness, because it really is the jewel among this fabulous island. The air is so fresh you could drink it like wine, you truly could. And I often sit here with my notebook and pen a few paragraphs because my head is fizzing with ideas, it really is. When I lived in London, I would be herded onto those commuter trains, like I say, but now these wide open spaces really do fill the soul to the very brim. This fabulous little rock always reminds me of an altar, and where better to worship the wonders of Mother Nature in all its rugged glory. And right here with the vineyards stretching out far behind me and the valley ahead of me. The rock over yonder, the enormous rock, is what I call the Lion's Head rock, and I climbed this recently with a bottle of champagne to unveil the very first copy of my latest novel, The Life and Extraordinary Times of Evelyn Pennywhistle. So this rock has an extremely special place in my heart, and I will climb this rock when my next novel is released. Well, I have a pocket full of these wonderful little acorns that I picked from that resilient little tree, and as I said, I'm going to plant them around this area. There are so few trees here, and although I will never see these trees reach maturity, I find it comforting that it is a gift to future generations, a legacy, if you will. And I'd urge each and every one of you to do the same. Let's reforest this beautiful planet of ours, and if nothing else, it'll put a smile on your face like it does mine. Well, the clouds, as you can see, are beginning to disperse, and although we have that breeze blowing up from the Mediterranean, the sun is back with a vengeance. The temperatures are beginning to rise here in the mountains. I can feel it on the back of my neck, but I have plenty of water in the backpack. Crikey, if you're out and about, I always say plenty of water. Even if it's heavy to carry, just take that water and you won't regret it. Well, I'm about to pop the first of my little acorns into the ground here alongside this track, and although the soil is bone dry, as is much of the island, come those winter rains, new life will be breathed into this entire area. So this little seed, this acorn, one day I hope will grow and provide shade for another weary traveller happening along this way. Well, a couple of months ago I came across this newly planted vineyard, and within this vineyard is a fabulous little olive tree, just the one, but it's quite magnificent. But what I found most incredible was that beneath that olive tree is a little chair. Now, I sat here once before, and it is an incredible place to collect your thoughts. This little olive tree is laden with olives that will produce some fabulous oil later this year. But this little tree and this little chair, as I said once before, it's like a scene from a Van Gogh painting. Take a look. They do say that it's the little things in life that give you the most pleasure. And for me, to sit in this little chair beneath this solitary olive tree really is a blessing. The shade from this tiny tree is so welcoming on a day like today. If you were to ask me at this particular moment if there was anything that I truly desired, I would say not a damn thing. I have everything I want right here. This little chair, this little olive tree, some water and some shade. The final leg of this 10k hike drops deep to the valley floor, but then there is an incredibly steep incline up the other side into the village of Inia and back to Drusha. But there is a little coffee shop in Inia where I will stop and rest my weary bones with a cup of Cyprus coffee. Well, I've just started my ascent up the other side of the valley, and already my thighs are pounding. I'm thankful that the scattering of cloud have obliterated the sun for the time being, but I still have a long way to go. Taken on plenty of water on the ascent, which is quite relentless. I still have maybe 1.5 to 200 meters of this incline, which I'd imagine is between 20 and 30 degrees. But I say, if your heart is racing and your legs are burning, you are burning calories, my friend. And if you must have those niceties in life, those glasses of wine, those large overindulgent festivities, then be prepared to sweat a little if you want to maintain your figure. For the final 30 meters or so, the incline increases to a punishing 45 degrees. My calves are throbbing, but the end is in sight. I drank half a litre of water on the way up, and I shall drink the other half when I stop. There's a little shade ahead and a dry stone wall with which to collapse against. Oh. Wow, I'm exhausted but elated at the achievement every time. When I lived and worked in the City of London, the majority of my daily meals will consist of a fast food burger and fries with little or no nutritional value. Now I get to pick the very finest fruit that nature can provide, like these glorious pesticide-free figs that I'll have with my breakfast with some fat-free Greek yogurt. It is so tasty and 100% organic. This tree, there are literally hundreds upon hundreds of ripe figs on this tree, and many more will ripen in the coming days and weeks. So on my regular hikes, I'll be able to pick fruit from this tree for several weeks, I'd imagine. If you are foraging for fruit here on the island of Cyprus, then please be aware that there are several species of snake, and when water is scarce during the summer months, they will feed on the fallen fruit. So just keep your wits about you and you'll be fine. I've seen a black whip snake this morning. Now these snakes look like a long leather belt, shiny black. They are completely harmless. They are more afraid of humans than we are of them, I believe. When you see these snakes, they are gone in an instant. So those are the friendly snakes. Well, just like the ocean, the countryside is a wonderful place to free your mind of any worldly worries. To stand here and to survey that enormous valley that I've just traversed this morning really does fill my heart. I'm just heading into the village of Vineyard now for a much deserved Cyprus coffee. Thank you for joining me this morning, my friends. And if any of you have embarked on a similar journey, then I wish you all the luck in the world. Bless you, my friends.